Hello, Carolyn Dube here. I am working in an art journal today. I was feeling a bit stuck. I could feel gremlins in my head telling me this isn't right, and so I'm noticing my ideas are just getting stopped. And I'm getting stuck on another project, so I decided it was time to kick some gremlins around. They were getting a little too strong in my head, so I'm going to teach them a lesson. So I went and found what I consider to be a currently ugly art journal page. This thing has gone through quite a few layers of things, and it just never quite sparked the way that I thought it would for me. So, this is a perfect thing for me because I already don't like it, so it doesn't matter what I do to it. And I am going to make mistakes with this. I am going to do ugly things, and I am going to try and think as little as possible. Because for some reason, when I'm thinking, that's when the gremlins come in. So it's time for me to kick them out. One of the best ways for me to kick them out of my head is for me not to think a whole lot and just start making something and going with how it flows and how it feels. Going with the flow. That's what I was thinking. So to do this, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this, but I have some boxes of things to inspire me. I have a hard time throwing away little bits and pieces and things, so in here are just all sorts of little papers and textures and fabrics and whatnot. So I'm going to start rooting through these and seeing what jumps at me. Like this orange piece was jumping out at me, so I'm going to use it. Don't really know what it's going to do. And you know what? I'm just going to drop it, and that's where it goes. I'm going to grab some glue of some kind. Oh yeah, I was out of gel. Oh, I still haven't bought more gel medium. Okay, so I'm back to I am using my super affordable Acrylic gel medium. I forgot to buy, oops, another oops, forgot to buy more gel medium last time I was at the store, so I'll just keep using my less expensive. I'm going to use a lot of gel medium. This is a very shiny gel medium, so it will be what it will be. And I'm going to use a Catalyst blade tool to help me spread it on. I'm just going to go like this, put plenty of it on there so it doesn't dry until I get the paper on it. At this point, the gremlins in my head are saying, going, well, it's silly there, look how close it is to that. What's it going to be? Where are you going with it? And my answer is, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with it. And it'll be what it'll be. Oh, hey, I've got this. I don't know what this is from. Some scrapbooking kit kind of thing, and I'm just going to put it there. Again, I have no idea where this is really going. And that's really irritating the gremlins in my head. They really want me to have a plan so that it's safe and that I know I'm not going to screw any of this up. And I don't have a plan. This may end up just getting uglier and uglier, and it may stay ugly. And it may turn out into something I like. And I'm just going to go with it and see what it becomes. I kind of like that. I always like arches, man. If I throw an arch on something, I get very happy. Now notice I'm trying it here, I'm trying it here. Those are the gremlins talking in my head because I still have no idea what I'm doing here. So, I am not going to let the gremlins do that to me. I am just going to put it down. So and my goal here today is to just get those gremlins under control. If I end up with an art journal page I like out of it, fantastic. But the reality is even if I don't like what I end up making with this, I'm adding more layers to it, so at some point it'll turn into something I like. It just may not be when I want it to be something that I like. Oh, that's kind of sheet music with some jelly printing on it. And go like that. Again, I have to say, I really don't know where this is going. And if I could only share with you the screams in my head from the gremlins going, what are you doing? What's the point? What's the purpose? And I guess to those gremlins I say the purpose is that I'm enjoying it. Everything doesn't have to be full of this serious purpose stuff. It can just be something I enjoy doing. Now, I'm sharing this with you, all of you watching the video, but it's as much to share it with my gremlins going, shush up, and let me enjoy this. At this point, this paper is not sticking down very well. It's a pretty heavy paper, and I'm slathering on gel medium like I've got gallons of it. Because it's just not... This is like a regular gel medium, and probably for this piece of paper with all the texture in it, I probably needed to use a heavy gel medium. Oops. So it just means I have to work it a little bit longer. I could get heavy gel medium out, but that's just more work than I want to do. Look at this tag. See, and I started going, is it there? You know what? I'm going to go there because I'm not going to let those gremlins get a hold of me. And I'm just putting that down right there. Let's see. I'm going to see what's in this box. Yep, I'm going to put that right there. Again, if the goal of this was to make an amazing art journal page right now, I would probably be spending more time thinking, but that's not what I'm really trying to do here. I am trying to shake those little gremlins loose so that I can work on what I actually was hoping to work on today. Ooh, I like that. Uh-oh, see, here I am thinking again. I'm going right there. That one is one of the circles I'd cut out from some paper I'd made during the Use Your Words workshop, which is free if you head over to my blog. You can sign up there for that free workshop. And I don't like the color on this at all. At all. But I'm going to force myself to use it. You know what, I'll go right there. Even though I don't really like the color of it. So be it. I am not going to think things through too much here. Oh, I kind of like that. And put that on here. Now, I'm not sure why I really like that. I don't know if it was the color or the shape, the fact that it's a letter. I'm not going to overthink. I'm not going to analyze it right now. I am just going to enjoy the fact that I found something I liked. Because if you only could see what's behind me, but my camera's mounted up on the wall so I can't turn it so you can see the mess that I have in another area where I have just tried and tried and tried on this one project and it's just not happening. This paper, by the way, is one of my Sparks of Artspiration printouts of other things that I've done, and they're in my newsletter so everybody can use them also. And I'm just going to use that to get a little bit of color in here. Oh, I guess I put the gel medium below it too. That's a thought. And the nice part about these is I can print them out over and over again on the printer. It's a high resolution download for you. And because I can print them out over and over again or in any size I want, I'm a little bit freer in playing with them than I am if I had something that I only had one of. Another strategy I have for kicking my muse, or not my muse, my gremlins out of my head. Uh-oh. I don't like this. But I'm going to use it because I grabbed it, and this is about not letting the gremlins tell me that's no good, that won't work. Because that's what they've been screaming at me all morning, and I've had it. They need to just behave. And shushy. Oh, there I am. I'm thinking, so I'm just going to go along here. Now, I could judge myself for thinking. Boy, it sounds crazy when you say it out loud. As I'm doing this, because I'm like, oh, those gremlins. But it's more that when I notice it's the gremlins doing it, I'm just going to say, that's enough, gremlins. I'm doing this the way it is. And anything on here that I go, it just doesn't belong, it doesn't feel right. You know what? I can always deal with that later. I kind of like that right there. I like those little circles. Ooh, I like these. Love little leftovers from when I've punched things. I always like to save those itty bitty little scraps. Really like those. Let's see. What else is jumping out at me in here? Nope, nothing is jumping out at me in that one, so I'm going to head back over to this other box and start rifling through it. And see. Ooh. Chipboard scissors. Oh. Yeah, it's like I'm having surgery against those silly gremlins. I'm going to cut them out of my head with the art. So I want scissors in here. Yeah, I'm just going to slap those on there. This is raw chipboard still. So I guess if it was a perfect world, I'd know exactly what color I want it to be. Exactly what I want it to look like. But you know what? I don't know. So I'm just going to put them on there. And I'll end up coloring them at some point later. Let's see, what else can I find in here? Ooh, sparkles. Ooh. And it has got wire in it. This is tinsel from at some point. So I'm actually going to take the wire out of it. And that way this will stick down for me a little bit better. Okay, so I cut this to do it, and I don't really like it as a big piece. And you know what? I'm just going to go with it like that. And I'm just going to embed it in a whole bunch of gel medium so it sticks. So I'm going to make a nice big old pile of it there. And then I can kind of stick that down. And I'll probably trim off those edges later once it's dry. If I go to trim them off now, it's all just going to wiggle. And I don't want to deal with it. Oh, look at that big piece of bright purple. Take that piece off. Now where am I going to go with it? Oh, I think I'll do that. That was my first instinct before the gremlins could have at it. And so now I'm just going to stick it down there. Whoops. This is also heavy watercolor paper, so it keeps wanting to come up. I guess I should put enough gel medium back there too. So I may have to keep working that down since I didn't want to bother to go get the heavy gel medium. Let's see. I can feel the gremlins sort of receding or fading away as I just don't have that much to say to them other than shut up and be quiet. I guess shut up is kind of be quiet. That's too big, so I'm just going to make it smaller. Now the gremlin in me was like, but if you cut it, you won't have a whole one anymore. You'll have these little partial ones. And my answer to that is then I'm going to cut it some more. If you think it's a problem that I'm cutting it up, I'm going to cut it up even more. And I'll teach the gremlin to do that. Oh. And now the pieces have come loose because I guess whatever was holding them together, I didn't cut that part. So be it. So I'll just add some glue. I've got the gel medium out, so that part's not a problem. And I can just glue it all down. Well, this is becoming a wonderful mess. I think I'm going to put another one kind of right there. Put that on top of it. I really like the two there. I want a third one there. Oh, I'm going to go on top of it. That's what I'll do. So as I search in the box and I glue more things down, I begin to notice the gremlins are getting quieter. They're not saying as many things, and they're not nearly as loud in my head. They're beginning to give up because I'm just not listening to them. And about the time that I realize that the gremlins are starting to fade, I found the most perfect thing in the box. This door, it's from Jessica Sporn's stencil, and it just reminded me there are opportunities. Even though the gremlins were in my head, this was an opportunity for me to show them who is boss, that they can get out of town, go away, leave me alone, and then I can begin to hear my muse. At this point in the page, something really turned for me. I wasn't hearing the gremlins, I was hearing my muse. She began whispering things to me, and since the gremlins weren't shouting, I could actually hear her. So as I was trying those different stencil, the green and the blue purpley thing there, my muse was talking to me and saying, you know what, I don't think those are really going to work there. And I'm like, okay, so I didn't put them there. The difference is when the gremlins are talking to me, I get weaker. I become scared. I become fearful. But when my muse is talking to me, I get stronger. I take more risks. I went and pulled out my manual typewriter and typed up some of the feelings that I want to make sure that I remember from this journal page so that as I go back and look at it later on, it can remind me of the important things. First thing I wanted to remember was bye-bye gremlins. I want to say goodbye to the gremlins. And I wanted to say open the door to new opportunities, to remind myself to do that. Definitely need to remind myself to cut the gremlins out of my head. Challenge the crazy thoughts the gremlins shout at you. This was the one where they said, don't cut it. Oh my goodness. You know what? I challenged it, and I like how it came out. The muse has music to share when the gremlins are quiet. Thanks to the music paper there to remind me of that. And add another layer. It's just part of the journey. The gremlins have left the building for now, and I want to add some color to unify it. So now it's very much my muse talking in my head going, you know, let's kind of pull it together with a little bit of color there. So I am going to do that since it's this wonderful whisper in my head of what to do. So I'm going to start coloring my scissors that were just a chipboard, and I didn't know what color I wanted them to be, but now that they're on here and again, the gremlins have stopped talking. I can tell that the gremlins have stopped talking because as I put out a little bit of paint there where I didn't plan on getting it, my mind just kind of goes, okay, oops, no big deal. If it bothers me, I can try and, not even worth doing that. It's just an oops, where if the gremlins were really back in my head, that would have been seen as a major catastrophe. So I've got that. I also love this yellow here, but I don't have a lot of yellow anywhere else. So I am going to use yellow to go around the words to make the words really stand out, because there's kind of a lot going on here. It's pretty much a ton of stuff happening. So I'm just going to make some of the stuff pop with the yellow. And since this page was all about just letting go and getting back to enjoying creativity, because the gremlins were starting to take that away from me, and I definitely have claimed that back, I'm not worried about super precision. It's just about getting things going, flowing again. You know what? So what happened right there was a big oops. I had gotten a bunch of yellow all the way onto this and covered up a word. And you know what? I actually like how that looks more than just having it around it. So I'm actually going with it. And when I don't have the gremlins in my head, those oops can end up taking me, showing me things that I hadn't really planned on doing, but how good it could look. So thank you, Muse, and so long, gremlins. When I was using the yellow up here, I was kind of, it really sort of made the red still showed through it and that kind of thing, and it was, because the yellow is so translucent, it's such a soft color, but how perfect that it's that for when I'm covering up the words, so ended up working to in my favor with that one. Really like how those are yellow now, makes that stand out more and pop. And now I just want to give it a little bit of an edge. So I'm going to come in with some black. This is a Stabilo pencil. Since everything here is very, very glossy and shiny and slick, I need something like a Stabilo pencil to write well over it. And just going to give it kind of a scratchy edge. I just wanted to have some kind of edge. It felt too unfinished without that. There, that feels complete to me now. So now every time I look at this art journal page, I can be reminded, if the gremlins are bothering me, to just kick them out.